Back in 2017, a trick was found to allow collecting a significant amount of golden bananas early, including the golden banana given for beating the first round of DK Arcade.
This soon begged the question, what about Nintendo Coin, the collectible given for beating the second round of Arcade?
Well, whilst the Nintendo Coin applied by the same rule set that made all the golden bananas collectible in the previous glitch, it can't be collected just by touching it, which ruled out this possibility. The quest for the Nintendo Coin early was on.
And now in 2020, after one of the most convoluted series of tricks in DK64, it has been made possible. Sort of. Let's dig deeper. Before the start of this glitch, we need to complete some progress in the game. Namely, we need the warp inside the arcade room tagged, we need the lever next to arcade spawned, we need to have collected the arcade round 1 golden banana, and finally we need to have learnt Gorilla Grab. Once we get all of that, we can return back to the main menu and start the process of getting the coin early. The starting step is to get a glitch called Intro Story Glitch. This is done by starting the intro story from the mystery menu and cancelling it shortly after it has been started. This runs a timer responsible for controlling the intro story in the background of gameplay, and has a number of effects. You can then enter your file and race up to Frantic Factory and enter Funkies inside of Frantic Factory. Due to the properties of Intro Story Glitch, because a cutscene plays in Funkies when you enter it, the game will fade you into the intro story.
What entering Funkies does is that it sets a few values in memory telling the game that the next time you come out of a shop, bonus barrel or trough and scuff, we want to spawn coming out of Funkies in Factory.
What Intro Story does is it exits that shop in an unintended way where these values are persisted.
As such, the next time we exit a shop, bonus barrel or trough and scuff, we will exit from Funkies in Factory. That being said, we do need to keep this property going back to the mystery menu. This property is reset when you select quit from the pause menu or time out of Hideout Helm, which means that the only way to get back to the main menu with this property is by defeating K. Rool. After beating K. Rool and getting back to the main menu, we can get to the main part of this glitch. Next part of the glitch is to get Intro Story Glitch again, which will be used for its fading properties and also the ability to get back into DK's treehouse at the end of it. Afterwards, we will go into the percentage screen of the file with all the progress in Frantic Factory. This loads the file number into memory and means that the game will start basing decisions on this file's state.
We then have to wait until at least 26 seconds have passed since starting Intro Story to enter the end sequence, at which point we will watch end sequence and wait for Intro Story to have progressed to a significant amount to fade us into the intro story. This has an interesting side effect of both running the intro story and the credits at the same time.
Yeah, again, we do have to wait this out, but most importantly, this puts us in the game mode designed for the mystery menu version of end sequence. But wait, what's a game mode? To put it briefly, DK64 has many game modes across the entire game. Each game mode has a list of rules which the game must abide by at certain points, such as not saving in the main menu, or having the start button go to DKTV from the DK wrap.
For the mystery menu end sequence game mode, the game warps us back to the main menu as soon as we press A. The unfortunate downside of this game mode is that the start button and control stick are completely disabled. So now that we're back in DK's treehouse after intro story, since the control stick is disabled, surely we're not able to move at all, right? Turns out that movement isn't completely impossible because of our best friend, the orange. By throwing oranges with specific timings, we are able to damage ourselves into the loading zone to training grounds. But now we're stuck in a situation where we're facing a direction where an orange stow wouldn't damage us. Thankfully, there are two neat ways we can change our angle without the control stick. The first way is by going into first person and then pressing B and C down on the exact same frame. The Kong will rotate to face the camera under these conditions. The second method is by pressing C left or C right and then entering first person within a few frames. This will turn the Kong anywhere between 9 and 40 degrees. Now with all these tricks in our arsenal, we can make our way to Crankies with purely orange damage. This is easily the hardest part of the glitch, and unfortunately, entering an area with a locked camera, such as in front of Cranky's lab in Training Grounds, will mean that the 9 to 40 degree turn glitch will not work, severely hindering our movement capabilities. However, with a bit of luck and lag, we can enter Cranky's and exit Cranky's to warp straight to outside Funky's hut in Frantic Factory. From here, we take Warp 5 to head to Arcade Room and do a series of damage boosts to get into position to pull the arcade lever. Shortly before we start the game, we press A to warp back to the main menu. So wait, what's going on here? The game uses temporary flags to store a number of bits of important data, not limited to the Helm Roman numeral doors unlocking, watching the long K's Beetle Race intro cutscene, and progress inside Tiny Phase. In this case, there's two temporary flags which are important to us. A temporary flag saying that we're in the story mode of DK Arcade, as opposed to the mystery menu variant, and a temporary flag which spawns a Nintendo coin as soon as we go back to the arcade area in Frantic Factory. The reason why these are temporary is because they do not persist through certain elements of gameplay, notably resetting, starting a file from the file percentage screen, being inside a multiplayer game mode, or going through DKTV. The inability to watch DKTV means that transferring temporary flags between files is significantly harder, and was thought to be impossible until this point in time. This is the sole reason why we're in End Sequence Mystery Menu game mode. It allows us a way to get back to the main menu straight from gameplay without encountering any of these situations. So we get sufficiently far into the cutscene of us entering DK Arcade for the game to set the temporary flag to make the game think we're in the story mode version of DK Arcades. When we get pulled back into the main menu by pressing A, this temporary flag persists. When we start the mystery menu version of DK Arcade, the game still thinks that this is the story mode version of DK Arcade, so we play Arcade as if it was round 2 for the Nintendo coin, indicated by Peach being replaced by the Nintendo coin in the main menu, which would not occur otherwise. When we then beat Arcade, it sets the temporary flag for wanting to spawn the Nintendo coin, and since we came from the mystery menu, we get sent back to the main menu. But there's one problem that remains. Remember how I said that entering a file from the file percentage screen clears our temporary flags? How are we going to get into another file without clearing our temporary flags? Well, you guessed it, it's Intro Story Glitch number 3 time. We get Intro Story Glitch and then go into the file percentage screen of the file we want to get Nintendo coin in. Like before, this will mean that the game starts referencing this file for decisions which rely on the file number or file state. From here, you have one of two options. You can enter the game in adventure mode, which is the game mode used when you're playing the game as if you are in the main story, by getting an intro story fade out in a boss, and then attempting to enter a multiplayer battle, and then waiting on the main menu to get faded into your game file, all at the cost of clearing some file data. Or you can enter the game in main menu mode, which is the game mode designed for the main menu, just by waiting on the main menu to get a fade into your file, at which point you won't be able to pause or save until you exit one of SNI's 40 Blueprint bonus minigames. The choice is up to you. Regardless of what you pick, once you're back in DK's treehouse again, we can head back up to Frantic Factory, and once we load in, we will be given the Nintendo coin. This idea does stretch further though. Turns out you can also get the Rareware coin early with a similar series of events. Once you select the end sequence option, you must keep A held the entire time. The next few steps are somewhat similar in the fact that you will need to damage boost yourself into Cranky's lab. But once you're inside, since you have A held, you'll be automatically accepting the option of deciding to play the Jetpack minigame inside Cranky's. Like Arcade, Jetpack also has two temporary flags, one for indicating that you're in a story mode version of Jetpack, and the other for indicating that the Rareware coin needs to spawn the next time you go into Cranky's. So by pressing A to go back to the main menu just before you enter Jetpack, and then playing Jetpack in the main menu for real, we can then set the Rareware coin spawn temporary flag and get it back to the main menu. From here is the usual process of entering a file and then entering crankies to spawn the coin. Now for the downsides. Unfortunately, this won't be used in 101% speedruns for many reasons. 1. The process of getting Nintendo coin early requires the use of intro story glitch a number of times, a glitch which is currently banned for the 101% leaderboards. 2. Nintendo coin in a standard run takes around about 2 to 3 minutes to perform, including all the prerequisites. This glitch takes over 35 minutes to perform, including watching the full intro story 3 times and beating K. Rool. 3. The movement using orange damage is not viable for real-time speedruns due to its extreme difficulty. So, why is this noteworthy? Most sequence breaks start from somewhere, and sometimes coming up with a faster method requires a slower method being made first. Whilst this isn't realistic to be used in real-time speedruns, the current method gives potential for various challenges where time, difficulty, and RTA rule sets do not matter. I hope you've learnt something today or have been fascinated by how complex a glitch can get. Hopefully, our newfound knowledge will soon lead to the discovery of what we currently feel is the next big sequence break: minigame skip. When this will be? Well, we'll just have to wait and see.